Higher education is at a crossroads. Rising tuition costs, political tensions, and debates over free speech have left many questioning the state of American universities. Enter the University of Austin, or UATX, a new school promoting free speech that has sparked both excitement and controversy.
American academics has become corrupt, and our goal is to change that.
But success isn't guaranteed.
You're competing against universities that still get a good bit of public taxpayer support. So starting from scratch is going to be very, very difficult for this school.
UATX says its mission is to restore debate and intellectual freedom to higher education. But is it a beacon of free thought or just another ideological battleground?
The American dream can be seen as an ideology, but it also is a set of promised material conditions and social mobility and wealth and home ownership and all of these other things.
This classroom may look like any other, but the University of Austin says the environment is distinct.
Real learning is a form of conversation. You create an environment in which there should be things that have surfaced or been discovered that nobody expected at the beginning.
The four-year private school, based in Austin, Texas, currently lacks accreditation and can only receive it after its first class of 92 students graduates. The college was founded in 2021 by a group of academics, entrepreneurs, and intellectuals, including venture capitalist Joe Lonsdale, who donated to President Trump's campaign, and journalist Barry Weiss, who has described her new startup, the Free Press, as a check to mainstream media's liberal orthodoxy. The university's board of advisors boasts prominent names like former Harvard president Larry Summers and evolutionary biologist Richard Dawkins. It also includes some controversial figures, like Dorian Abbott, a professor known for his outspoken criticism of diversity programs. Launching a university from scratch isn't easy. At least 46 degree-granting colleges and universities shut down in 2024.
Starting a university is an extremely rare thing in the United States. So we have to show that it can be done, especially in times when, system-wide we see other institutions failing.
Richard Vedder, an emeritus professor of economics at Ohio University, believes one of UATX's biggest challenges will be receiving accreditation.
You need to be accredited if you want your students to be eligible for federal financial aid. And to get accreditation, you have to have a body approve what you're doing. And that body is usually made up of people who are working for other universities. So it's almost like your competition is coming to see whether you are okay.
The school has already drawn criticism. The Root, a publication focused on Black culture and news, mocked the university as Hogwarts for white people and dubbed it anti-woke.
If wokeness means censorious canceling of certain ideas you don't like, then yes, this is an anti-woke project, but it's not simply an anti-woke project, okay? What I mean by that is it is anti-cancel culture, anti-censorious.
Some academics have also criticized the university for judging the rest of higher education too harshly. The former chancellor of the University of Chicago, Robert Zimmer, who was himself a champion of free speech on campuses, resigned from UATX's advisory board in 2021. He said the university made a number of statements about higher education in general, largely quite critical, that diverged very significantly from my own views. Located in central Texas, the University of Austin is often confused with its much larger neighbor, the University of Texas at Austin, which is just down the street.
There's a renaissance going on here. You have all sorts of important new technology companies and AI and things in defense and healthcare happening.
The university's campus is located in an old department store in downtown Austin. UATX currently employs about 20 faculty members with no tenure system, and classes are small seminars with 15 or 16 students.
Savagery. I want us to think a little bit about what this is. There's a sense that this is a politically incorrect word, right?
You won't see cell phones because we have banned them. You also won't see laptops. It distracts you. What helps you think is having a text and having a smart person to talk to.
A central facet of the university's classroom is the Chatham House rule, which is a principle that ensures confidentiality in discussions to encourage open and honest dialogue.
If someone says something unacceptable to people or shocking or problematic, you can't run out and say, Bobby said something racist or Susie actually is a Zionist. You cannot do this. And what that means is that students don't have to conform. They can actually say what they think.
That academic freedom is part of what attracted Professor Coleman Hughes to UATX. He's teaching a course called The Legacy of Slavery.
At most elite universities, in a course on that topic, you would not read the body of work of, say, Thomas Sowell. He gives an overview of the global history of slavery, not narrowly tailored to the United States. Most American high school students graduate believing that slavery was basically confined to the United States, when really that represents less than 1% of slavery broadly construed over the history of Earth. Just to give an example, in my class, we're going to read everything from Ta-Nehisi Coates and Nicole Hannah-Jones on the left to Thomas Sowell and Shelby Steele on the right. And we're going to evaluate them not only on their own terms, but in relation to everything else we're reading.
While the University of Austin says it isn't an explicitly political school, some of its biggest backers are donors to Republican candidates and causes. The new school says it has raised roughly $220 million so far, a huge sum for such a tiny school without any alumni to tap. But Vedder said UATX's endowment will need to grow far larger if the university is to be successful.
The problem is it's a private school and it takes a lot of money to make these things work. The University of Austin, in the long run, to be successful, needs literally billions of dollars to build a campus and to have an endowment. Universities are wards of the state. They are utterly dependent on the public. That support can come through taxpayer dollars or it can come from private philanthropy, but it's got to come from somewhere.
School administrators said the campus turmoil over the war in Gaza accelerated fundraising. According to the Foundation of Individual Rights and Expression, a nonprofit that ranks free speech at universities, 54% of students find it difficult to discuss the Israeli-Palestinian conflict on campus, the highest ever recorded on any issue.
The data is rather clear that elite institutions are not places where students or faculty feel that they have the freedom to express the full range of their opinions.
Last year, UATX welcomed its first class of 92 students. 2 hail from abroad, but the vast majority come from 24 U.S. states, with more than 40% hailing from Texas. Unlike most American schools, UATX doesn't keep statistics on race or gender.
If you're willing to take the risk of joining something as new as the University of Austin, it means that you probably felt like you didn't fit in at the normal school or in normal higher education.
A lot of my experiences in school, it was a lot of box ticking, and it was a lot of, let's go study so you can get this degree and so you can get a job. It's like, I'm just curious about this stuff. I just want to read and I want to discuss and I want to disagree with people.
The monetary thing for me was very important. The fact that there's no tuition and there's like a scholarship on top of that, that really helps.
As a way to offset the risks students are taking attending an uncredited school, the first class of students is receiving full tuition scholarships worth about $130,000. Much like their professors, the students the Wall Street Journal spoke with said the university's mission has been misunderstood by some outside the school.
One day I may be arguing for one certain ideal in class, but then the next day I could be arguing for the other side. And the point is that we're all supposed to leave here discovering what we believe and what we think the truth is based off of evaluating both sides. You can't do that at a one-sided university.
So the media thinks this is right-wing MAGA university. It's not. This is a university where we pursue truth. This is a university where all ideas are welcome and discussed. And if they came here and they talked to us, they would realize that.
Looking ahead, Vedder says a big test for the school will be the success of its inaugural class.
First of all, do the students who start at the University of Austin, will they be graduating in 2028? If the answer is 1/3 graduate, 1/3 transfer to another school, and 1/3 flunk out, you have failed. You have to demonstrate success at retaining students and increasing the popularity and the reputation of the school through what you do in the first few years. And that is not easy and it's expensive, but it can be done.